Ernie any questions, the radio call-in line over here at the City FM is 702-382-0103. So call in and ask those embarrassing questions that we know that you've all been wanting to ask Denise or Ernie. So you guys, welcome to the show.
Well, it's great to be here.
Wonderful to be here.
Well, fantastic.
I don't know if we've ever done a radio show together, honey.
No, not together.
Yeah.
No.
Well, this will be a first.
Yes.
And before we even get going here, folks, Denise and Ernie, for those of you who are part of DNG and have been a part of us for a while, know who Denise and Ernie are, but a lot of people don't really know who they are as far as DNG goes. But when we first started this group, Denise and Ernie were pivotal in the formation of DNG. And so Denise, or Ernie, either one of you, just kind of chime in on this and kind of give us, what you remember as far as DNG and our first meeting and all that other good stuff.
I remember Beano's breakfast special, $3.99.
Yeah.
Remember that, honey?
Right, I do.
Yeah. So Beano's was like the first place we actually had our first meeting at.
That's right. In fact, we had meetings there for several months before we moved to our present location, and long before we started DNG 2.
Sure. Yeah, and even before that, we actually met over at it was a political rally, or it was a meet and greet.
Right.
For somebody. I forget who it was now. Barry
Michaels.
Barry Michaels.
Yeah, I share his last name.
I was going to say, were you guys like associated or anything like that?
No.
Yeah. So we met you there, and
right.
We struck up a great relationship.
Right.
Pretty much on the spot.
Right.
And so and then after that we got to meet a little bit.
We got together for Starbucks, as people are wont to do, both couples, and then we'd go for walks at Pueblo Park and go to Samba Latte for, which is kind of a cool place. And I was doing sort of a restaurant review there, so the owner gave us sort of like carte blanche, any beverages or pastries or whatever we wanted that day.
Was that great?
Which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I remember we met at a Starbucks after we'd known each other for a few months, and you said, I want to start a networking group, but I want to kind of give it an edge, give it something different.
Yeah.
And immediately I said diversity networking.
Yeah, because I'll tell you, it was an amazing time, and who would have thought that 2 years later that it would be where it is now.
Here we are.
Yeah, that's right. Here we are, and expanding.
Yeah, and so now we actually have two groups. And you and Ernie, you approached Linda and I and said, "Hey, guess what?"
Right. I approached, because I looked around this whole Clark County, and there's no Monday networking group early in the mornings. So I had to think about it. You know what? Why not? Why should I drive around, find out where these groups are and things like that? That none exists. So I decided to talk to Linda and Sherman and Denise. You know what? I'd really like to have another group close by, DNG2. And Denise suggested, why not go with DNG2 so we have some promotional kind of thing with the DNG, Diversity Networking Group, and some resources available, educational, as well as the word of mouth and Facebook and etc. So that's how we got started.
Yeah. Now tell the truth, Ernie. Now really, was it because you wanted to start a group, or you just didn't like the breakfast over at Panera Bread?
Well, basically I was looking for another group, so now Monday through Thursday, networking groups are in the mornings. So I really enjoy it, and I like the breakfast at Marie Callender's is pretty good. And Panera Bread is fine when I'm trying to watch more weight, but I do support Panera Bread. Eat something or have my coffee or tea, and why not be supportive of the environment.
So Sherman, okay, this guy, the Breakfast of Champions.
The Breakfast of Champions.
All right, scrambled eggs with Thai sriracha sauce on it.
Ooh,
that's breakfast.
That's
bananas, whole wheat toast. Yeah, but that's his breakfast.
That's the Breakfast of Champions.
Yeah, I'm an egg man.
I'm an egg man. There was a song by the Beatles called The Egg Man.
Yeah. Wow. For those of you who are just tuning in right now, this is this week on DNG Radio. In studio today we have Denise Michaels and Ernie Martin. They are part of the founders of D&G and also entrepreneurs. We're going to be talking a little bit more about their business here in just a minute, but we're giving them giving you folks a little bit of background on them and see who they are, because a lot of people are just aching to know who you are. Our studio line, if you'd like to call in, is area code 702-382-0103. So if you'd like to call in, ask a question. We'll be taking calls here probably in our second segment. But we were talking about D&G 2 and how you've got your own group now. How's it been so far?
Oh, it's great. I love the group. You know, it's great people, and Holly, our server over at Marie Callender, she's terrific. I like the veggie scramble. We're giving props to Marie Callender here this morning, but you know, it's people who it's not an intimidating group. It's a comfortable group. There's no us. We welcome new people. We're just all about supporting business people, and I love the focus that's evolved as D&G has evolved the last couple of years, and that is that it's a place that not only that you come to for connections, but also that you come to for great ideas, training, you know, just great ways you can improve how you run your business.
That's amazing. Now, Denise, you're a marketing mentor, and we're going to talk a lot about that in our next couple of segments.
Okay.
But is it a lot different being a marketing mentor in a networking group's format as it is doing one-on-one?
It's always different when you're presenting to a group of people as opposed to presenting to one person. When I'm working with one person, I can really drill down into their specifics, and you know, I become almost like a detective. It's like I'm asking a lot of questions before I start sharing ideas. When I'm presenting in front of a group, I'm trying to give ideas that are more usable by a group, so they're a little bit more generic, you know, rather than how it would be applied to one specific person within the group. I hope that makes sense. Yeah,
it sure does, because it's amazing how you do that. You know, in our next segment, we're going to talk a lot about Occupy Your Life. We're going to talk more about your business, Ernie, and because I know a lot of people really want to know about that. So for those of you who are on the webcam, you get to actually see Denise and Ernie. If you want to call into the show, call 702-382-0103. This is This Week on D&G Radio. I'm your host, Sherman Ray. We'll see you in the next segment, folks. So stay tuned.
Clear. Alright, segment 2, 10 minutes here.
All right, folks, and we are back. This is This Week on D&G Radio. In studio today, we've got Denise Michaels and Ernie Martin. We're really excited about that. Before we get to them, we're going to talk just real briefly and give a little plug for our Dash into Summer networking event, which is going to be tomorrow over at the City Athletic Club. It's going to start, actually, we've changed the time on it, and it was going to start at 6 to 9, but now we're giving you another hour. It's from 5 to 9 p.m. We've got vendor booths. We've got food carts. We've got the Asian Chamber of Commerce and everybody else. It's going to be just an awesome event. And
Sherman knows how to throw a party.
Come on, we got a party, folks. You know what? Somebody said, well, why would you do it so big? It's like, you know what? If you don't go big, just go home.
Go big or go home.
Go big or go home. So that voice that you heard, the dulcet tones of Denise Michaels.
Oh, jeez.
You've got a radio voice, you know, you really do.
Right.
She does has a radio voice.
Well, we were talking in the last segment about a little bit about DNG2 and how you're starting up DNG2, and you've been doing it for quite a few months now.
Started first week in November.
2011.
2011. But real briefly, let's talk about your marriage, because you folks just celebrated your 6th wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. He's outlived any other relationship I've ever had. Well, we've been together August 2nd. We will have been together 15 years.
Really?
So as a marketing mentor, I sometimes say it took him a while to close the deal.
Ooh, wow. But he closed the deal, though. You know what?
But he did, so.
That's great.
Anyway.
Well, one of the questions I want to ask you is, how do you keep your marriage fresh? I mean, it's been 6 years now, and you two are always laughing, you're always having a good time. How do you keep your marriage fresh?
What do you say, honey?
I would say that, Denise gets involved with the family gatherings, like with I got 2 grown sons and 3 grandkids in Southern California. And she comes to all the events like birthdays, like soccer games or baseball games for my grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, we give space for each other. In other words, she's busy with her stuff and I'm busy with my stuff, so we don't interfere. We don't get involved with we don't step on each other's toes. That's very important. And I respect her, her time, and she tells me, you know what, I need some time to do this or do that. Yes, I don't bother her, then take off for a couple hours, do my reading or stuff like that. I'll get on the computer. And that's how we manage to live by. And I love romance, I love interaction, and I love listening. I love to share things that in a relationship. So that's what keeps us going.
Wow.
I would say for me 2 things is, one is that I make a decision to be in love with him every morning.
Oh.
Every morning when I wake up, I say, I'm in love with this guy.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, people are like, well, my feelings have changed,
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think feelings are a choice.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And so I make a conscious decision every morning, even if he did something that irritated me that day before, right, to be loving him every morning. And sometimes, because I'm busier than Ernie is, sometimes, he will be there kind of like asking me questions and doing things. And every once in a while, when I notice that's getting persistent, I'll get up and I'll say, honey, do you need a hug right now?
Oh.
And he'll say, yeah, I do.
And Ernie needs, if that happens 5 or 6 times a day,
yeah,
where he just
well,
says, I need a hug.
Yeah.
All day long.
Yeah, I'll say, honey, do you need a hug right now? And he'll nod his head yes. And so I'll get up from what I'm doing and spend a few minutes, connecting.
That is awesome.
And I think it makes a difference. And then I can go back to what I'm doing, and he can go back to what he's doing. But it's those little breaks in the middle of the day that make a big difference.
Yeah, and you guys have a very busy lifestyle.
Yeah, we do.
And you both have businesses.
Yes.
And Ernie, you've got a business. You're actually a virtual assistant.
Yes, I do the virtual business services.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, what I did was when I got away from aerospace, when I was laid off back in '95, and I was a financial analyst in aerospace world. Fortune 500 companies. And what I did was I found out that small business owners and entrepreneurs, they have challenges with organization and setting up office processes or paperwork and getting on the computer, putting data or scanning business cards, things like that. And I was thinking that why not they use their valuable time in what they do passionately.
Okay.
So they can say their valuable time to getting more clients and more customers while I do the back office stuff for them.
Yeah.
So that's how the idea came about, and that's what I promoted a year ago.
Well, that's a brilliant idea. So you recognize that business owners have valuable time, but they're wasting a lot of their time doing stuff that somebody else could be doing.
Somebody else can be doing, and and I enjoy doing it too. And these business owners, small to medium-sized business owners, and the entrepreneurs, they really don't like much paperwork or messing around with inputting data into the computer, or making phone calls. Some of them even have phone phobias. So I just pick up the phone and dial people that increase their businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I say that they're in the thick of thin things. It's
Wow.
like, oh, I can check this off. I checked my email today. Oh, I can check it off again. I checked my email again.
Yeah.
Right?
So Ernie, what kind of business services, as a virtual assistant,
Yes.
what kind of business or what kind of services do you offer through your business?
Oh, I offer what they call business card scanning.
Okay.
I do have a software. What I do is I download the software into the customer's computer, if they so like, and scan them. The information is very important. It's just like gold.
Sure.
They can use that information to connect with other business owners or networking with other businesses. Or whenever somebody asks them for some information, they can go ahead and give that information to somebody else. A referral system. When you refer somebody else, you get also referrals. That's one way of expanding their business.
Well, that's awesome. So you've got business card, and I'm gonna rush you through because I want to get all of your in right now.
Okay.
So you do business card services. So you scan.
That's right.
What else do you do?
I also help them with the, it's called, when they have, business owners have expenses, receipts. What I do is I take there and put them on the Excel spreadsheet and categorize them by their expenses, like
Awesome.
travel or food or tools or anything that needs to be recorded on an Excel spreadsheet. All they can do is take it over to the bookkeeping services or accountant and show to them, hey, these are my expenses, and by totals.
Yeah. So you
By
take
category.
the big shoebox like you've done before. You take the big
Yes.
shoebox of
That's right.
receipts and you bring it down to something that is manageable.
That's
So
right,
they can-
manageable, organized and manageable, and all the numbers are total, so that they'll have access to that immediate by categories and by totals.
Wow. And also, so categories and totals. And one of the things I heard you say was that you make the phone calls. You can actually make phone calls for business owners.
Yes, that's right. A lot of them are follow-up phone calls. They're like realtors, for instance, or mortgage brokers, or even computer people that are like internet services. They have marketing, target marketing certain businesses. So they would give me their lists to call them for follow-up purpose. They have inquired, potential customers have inquired about their services. So I would call them, call their potential customers. And I have no problem calling. I'm not afraid of them.
Sure.
I'm afraid of making the phone calls and make the results or
So
document the
realtors,
results.
so we're calling out to realtors, we're talking anybody who has to make those follow-up phone calls.
That's right. Mortgage broker, realtors, or even internet people that are scoping out the markets out there.
That's awesome. So now what else do you do for?
I also do the a public notary, a mobile public notary, people that businesses that want notary public. I'm a notary public, a mobile notary public. Anybody want me to go, I'll go ahead and notarize their documents.
Yeah. So you basically, Ernie, you've got an entire office. You're an executive secretary service that can actually go to a business, but even more than that, you can make the phone calls because a normal secretary would not make a phone call.
No, they don't.
It's like a suite of very specialized
A
services.
suite. That's right. That is so awesome. Man.
Right.
So if you are in the market for somebody to take care of all of those things and so you can devote your time to something else, definitely give Ernie a call. Ernie, how can they get a hold of you?
Well, they can call me on my cell phone, area code 702-401-6906.
Cool. Say that one more time, just in case somebody didn't hear it.
Area code 702-401-6906.
Well, fantastic. So if you need virtual business services, call Ernie Martin. In our next segment, we're going to spend a lot of time talking to Denise because she's got some great things that have been going on in her life. This has been This Week on D&G Radio. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be back in just a moment.
Clear.
And welcome back, folks. This is the final segment for this week on D&G Radio. This is the weekly call-in show produced by the Diversity Networking Group. If you'd like some more information on D&G, our events, networking events, and all the people involved in it, go to www.diversitynetworkinggroup.com. That's just with one G, folks, diversitynetworkinggroup.com. And a shameless plug, folks, tomorrow we're having our Dash into Summer networking event. It's going to be over at the City Athletic Club, and it's going to go from 5 to 9 p.m. We're going to have all kinds of vendor booths and all kinds of great things. It's a joint event that is scheduled with the Asian Chamber of Commerce and YA Events. It should be a great thing. We're expecting just a ton of people, and we'll have clowns and mimes and everything. Well, probably not clowns and mimes, but you get the idea.
It'll be fun.
It'll be fun.
It'll be fun.
In studio today.
Hey, we're going to be there, so right?
I know.
It'll be fun.
It's going to be fun. In studio today.
Start the party. We're here.
Yeah. In studio today, I've got Ernie Martin and Denise Michaels. They are just wonderful folks and friends of D&G. They are part of the fabric of the Diversity Networking Group, but they have got their own businesses also. In the last segment, we talked a little to Ernie about his business of virtual business services. And in this segment, we're going to talk to Denise Michaels about her business. Denise, you are a marketing mentor.
That's right.
Cool. And so tell everybody, because a lot of people hear the word marketing mentor, and they're thinking, what the heck is a marketing mentor? But we know, but give everybody a thumbnail sketch of what a marketing mentor really is.
Well, here's the thing. We've been undergoing, well, you can't call it a revolution anymore because it's been like 2.5 decades now of more and more people starting their own businesses. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I was on a conference call yesterday, and I was saying it used to be the person who started a business was the 55-year-old guy who'd been in the business world for, 2-3 decades and had all this experience running businesses. Mm-hmm. Well, now, because of the way the world has changed, I mean, just look at the Fortune 500 10 years ago compared to today. It's drastically different. Mm-hmm. And the greatest growth in creating income, I'm not going to say jobs, because when you have a business, you don't have a job, you have a business, right? Mm-hmm. But the greatest growth is among people who maybe 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, never considered the possibility of having a business of their own. Mm-hmm. And what I've discovered is that people who are really good at doing things typically will start a business doing that thing, whether, let's say, maybe they're a web designer, or they're an accountant, or they're an attorney, or they provide some other service. But what's missing is critical business skills, particularly marketing skills, because a lot of people never consider that. They think if I build it, they will come. All I got to do is, have a business card printed and put a page up on Facebook, and I'm good to go.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And I'm rolling in clients. And what they discover is that marketing really takes a concerted effort, and it also takes the right effort. Mm-hmm. I've been in marketing for over years.
Yeah.
Let's just say over 2 decades, and bought my own business for the first time when I was 27 years old, when women were not doing this, mm-hmm. back in the 1980s, and have been doing it ever since. And so what I do is I work with business owners, one-on-one, mm-hmm. private mentoring, and it means we go through from start to finish what it's going to take to get the word out and make your goals happen, mm-hmm. with your business.
So you basically hold on to the hand of the business owner. So they might be good at whatever they do, but they really just don't know how to get the word out about their business.
That's right.
And so you help them get the word out about their business, and so that they can actually make some cash.
That's what it's all about, you know, because if you're not creating income, I say you don't have a business, you have an expensive hobby.
An expensive hobby, yes. That's the truth. And so Denise, you've been doing this for a while, mm-hmm. And who now? Because a lot of people want to know, well, how did you get started in this? I mean, who was your biggest influence? Who might have actually helped you get to the place where you're at right now?
Well, I've had different influences through the years. I mean, I've always been impressed by people who can take an idea and create something out of thin air. Mm-hmm. One example of that is Martha Stewart. Okay. She wrote a cookbook, and then a cookbook became a magazine, and then it became products, and all of these things. but it's like basically she took an idea she could do something like Better Homes and Gardens better than Better Homes and Gardens had been doing it for 75 years.
Yes,
you know?
definitely. Yeah.
So that's always impressed me. But I've had different influences through the years. There was a gentleman, I used to go hiking with him and his wife when I lived in San Diego. His name was Dale.
Mm-hmm.
And Dale was someone who took Tony Robbins from being a couple $1 million in debt and put him on the map.
Wow.
You know, and he was a mentor to me.
Isn't that funny? Because we always think of Tony Robbins as being the guy who mentors everybody else, but there was actually somebody who spoke into his life.
That's right.
And you knew this guy, and he was he was an influence in your life.
Right. His name was Dale, you know, and he and his wife were good friends and hiking buddies, and we'd go hiking in the mountains in San Diego with about a half a dozen people every Saturday morning.
Wow.
And it crazy, we'd talk about marketing as we were hiking, you know.
Isn't that amazing?
So yeah, different influences for different things over the years. But what got me started in this mentoring is I was working as a marketing trainer for a very big national New York Times #1 best-selling author seminar guy, and you'd pay $5,000-$6,000 to get into this 1-year program. And when you wanted to learn about marketing, you got me.
No.
And I was doing about 4 or 5 webinars a week. And you know how it is when you're on these calls, you know, invariably someone else asks a question that has absolutely nothing to do with what's going on.
Sure.
We won't call it a stupid question, but I believe, yes, there are stupid questions.
There can be, yeah.
And so what I would do is I would say, well, why don't you send me an email and let's schedule a time to talk about this one-on-one. You know, and that's how I ended up mentoring
Isn't
people.
that funny?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's, and it's funny because now, so I'm going to move along a little bit because I know we want to talk about Occupy Your Life now.
Right.
And it seems like, because many of us have been privy to watching this mold a little bit, and how you were able to take a situation and see an opportunity and kind of move it to a different direction. And I believe that's what Occupy Your Life Now did. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because you've been very successful at that.
Right,
and
right.
talk a little bit about Occupy Your Life.
Well, Occupy Your Life is a workshop that I do with Stacy Hall. She's a good friend of mine and also author of the Amazon bestseller Chi to Be, Achieving Your Ultimate Be-All. And we've been good friends for many, many years. I helped put her first book, Attracting Perfect Customers, on the map back in the day when it came out, made it a bestseller. And we got together and we said, what do people need now? And this was just at the time when the whole Occupy Wall Street movement was happening.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Sure.
And I thought, you know what? I empathize with these people, with their feeling frustrated, but I know deep in my heart of hearts that when we choose to make positive changes in our life, things change a lot faster and better than telling somebody else they need to change.
Yeah.
You know, and so Occupy Your Life is about what's changing now, what's happening in the world, what to abandon in business, what works, and it's done in the course of 2.5 days, and we've done it twice now, and it's been very, very successful, as you just said.
Oh yeah, and it's been great. And now and so you just had your last Occupy Your Life Now.
Right, June 2nd through 4th. Yes.
So what are you going to do now? I mean, now it's done this thing. So what are you going to do next after that?
Right. Well, what we discovered is that people are very, very, you know, they're savvy to the fact that media is where it's at. So our last Occupy Your Life, the focus was on how to become an overnight sensation. And we did this little thing where we had a bunch of movie posters all over the walls in the hotel meeting room, and you know, Stacy and I got all blinged out and stepped out of a limo onto a red carpet and everything. And you know, we can't spill the beans yet on what we're going to do, but that direction.
Are you sure you can't tell us all about it?
Well,
here now?
I can give you the dates.
Exclusive.
I can give you the dates. The next event is going to be in October.
Okay.
Because Ernie and I, we're doing a lot of travel. Everybody's doing a lot of travel. So October 20th, 21st, and 22nd.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll get you back on the show, and
cool.
you can give us another little bit of a tidbit.
Snippet, yes.
A snippet of what's going on.
Yes, but people can connect with me on Facebook and.
Okay.
You know.
Well, if anybody wants to get a hold of you, how would they get a hold of you?
Facebook, Denise Michaels in Las Vegas. DeniseMichaels.com is my blog.
Okay.
Those are 2 great ways to get in touch with me.
Well, great. And look forward to having Denise back on the show and Ernie back on the show in October, because we're going to find out a little bit more about Occupy Your Life Now. Hey folks, we're running out of time, and I want to thank our in-studio guests, Denise Michaels and Ernie Martin, for being a part of the show today. If you would like to find out any more information about the Diversity Networking Group, or events, or maybe even find out about Denise and Ernie, go to diversitynetworkinggroup.com. That's diversitynetworkinggroup.com with just one G. We also have a great event that's coming up June 21st. It's called Dash into Summer Networking. It's going to be over at the City Athletic Club, and that's tomorrow. You guys, I want to thank you all for being a part of the show today. This has been Sherman Ray, and this has been This Week on DNG Radio. We will see you next week at 10:30, produced by thecityfm.com. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.